What the hell did I just watch?
MMD.
I mean, yeah, granted, but uh, okay. So, Anime Reflux. The show we're doing is straight titled robot anime. I think that was what it was called.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. Uh,
It was an interesting idea, and honestly, it was done well. I was
I
entertained.
okay. I I will disagree on some of that. Uh, the MMD thing seems like an absurd gimmick that is pointless.
Bear in mind, this anime came out in 2013.
It did, yeah.
Like
Um,
it's going to be like a series of just shorts. Um, but like, yeah,
like my consideration for this would be they could have done this with crayon drawings and it would have been as or more effective than using MMD.
I disagree with the more effective part. It would have been of a similar quality, and it would have been just as entertaining for it.
Yeah, like that's the weird thing I have about this. Like it seems like the MMD as the software, by the way, that's really not actually professional level animation software. That's more used for dance choreography for things like Hatsune Miku and stuff like that. Um, just for the audience's awareness. So it feels like there was more going on to it than that as a core conceit of the show. Like it wasn't really built around the concept of being done using that software. It felt like there were other aspects. Like I'm like 70 to 80% sure, I haven't looked it up, that it was recorded in one take, maybe.
I would believe that,
Maybe
considering
even
some of the
ad libbed,
silliness.
because like there was the part where the robots that are discussing how you make laughter start laughing in the middle of recording, and I feel like that was complete corpsing. That was just them losing it in the middle of recording whatever this was.
and the narrator's
Oh,
just like, "Oh, it's just a glitch. Don't worry about that. They're not actually laughing."
Yeah, like that's what this seems like it was, and honestly, that's way more interesting to me than the fucking MMD thing. Like by a country mile is just a show that was recorded in one take or ad libbed. That sounds way more interesting. As a key component of the show, and it was shaky at first in that aspect, but it kind of worked eventually.
So
it was pretty fun, honestly.
the basic premise is you got like three robot girls who are like just kind of chilling in the middle of a giant robot war,
Yeah.
and
Okay, so yeah, it has the big title sequence of giant robots fighting and stuff, and then the first thing it comes to is three robot ladies standing in the middle of an open canyon, and I'm
it's a ruined city.
immediately getting some Red versus Blue vibes. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I kind of got a little
Yeah.
bit of that feeling as well of just like, well, there they go, fighting again. Huh. Maybe we can stop this war with laughter.
If they can unlock the secrets of laughter, which I realized as I was watching this is one of the hardest things to get a grasp on with zero context. Just with zero,
I,
just with like textbook descriptions. It's like what?
yeah, I thought about it. It's like a lot of jokes are like baked into, culture and context, and you just can't quite understand them without that.
Yeah, just like
Like
in
a
the basic
joke. A
definition,
joke is
it subverts the expectations of the one hearing it. Like okay, that is nowhere near enough context to understand what a joke is.
Or, yeah, what was the official description? Was like an action that is illogical. It's like, what? That would not help at all.
Yeah. And they had, like, each of them do their own interpretation of how to make a joke. And you had the glasses one do something that didn't really work. I forget what it was. Yeah,
I
that actually
forget what
says
they
all
did
you
at
need to
first.
say about that one. It just didn't really work, but it wasn't supposed to. And then the second one tries it, the one with the digital face thing. And it turns out she is an industrial model, which means that she can change her appearance at will. So she puts on a demon mask and has like a knife and starts spinning it while shouting about punishment or something.
Asking if there's any crybabies in the audience or something
That's the
like
one.
that.
That's the one. And that actually that made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that got me.
It was good.
Because the whole voice changed
Yeah.
to, "Are there any crybabies?" You're like, "Oh."
And then the third goes, and she's like, "Hey, the war is over." Okay. The war's
That's
not
just
over though.
depressing.
Yeah.
And she's like, "See, because the war is over, now I don't have to make a joke."
The pressure is lowered. Hey, it turns out being told to do something funny actually makes it way harder to be funny.
Yeah. One thing I really, you go to a whole simulation room, and the thing that had me actually just really laughing was they talk about, I know another silly activity, and it's lube sumo, and they simulate the planet, and they just pour a bunch of lube on it, and then you go through the opening again, but everything's just slipping and sliding around with all the giant robots, and it's just that just had me. I was just like, this is great.
It was, yeah. I was just laughing the whole thing. That was amazing.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like, it seems like this caused way more casualties than before. Maybe this isn't the answer.
And then we get to prop comedy, which is okay. There was the blue girl with the twin tails that grabbed a pickaxe and a hazard cone, put the hazard cone on her head, straddled the shaft of the pickaxe, and said, "I can't seem to fly," and she was pretending to be a witch. And she just sort of bounced there with the head of the pickaxe clanging on the floor. Okay. We had... God, I forget what the industrial one did again, but I remember it devolved into just the fucking mask and knife again.
Yeah, it was just the same joke 3 times. It was the mask.
Yeah. And then the third one set up a salon type scenario where she had fucking tree clippers and say like, "Wow, you're way taller than my usual customers."
That actually got me a little bit.
It was
like,
okay.
all
Alright. It was alright. Yeah. That was pretty much it. It was weird. But yeah, like through all that like prop comedy bit, all of the actresses was just sort of giggling to themselves during the whole thing. Like, yeah, I'm 80% sure this was recorded in one take. I need to look this up.
There, I did actually go and watch episode 2.
Okay, I did not.
I won't say much on it except it kind of follows the same formula as episode 1, where they talk a bit, have some comedy out there in the destroyed city, go to the simulation room. They do another intro gag, which is why I think the intro is the way it is, so they can do varieties of different intro gags where they sabotage it in some way in their simulation.
How did they sabotage it in episode 2?
they're like, well, everybody likes Odin, so let's just pour Odin on everything, and then giant pieces of food are crashing down on the robots while they're trying to do the opening.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And then they do a bit of prop comedy, which I didn't quite finish that section, but yeah, it seems like that's kind of the basic formula, at least in the second episode. I don't know. It's probably going to keep going for quite a few episodes.
Yeah.
Just kind of a silly nonsense thing.
I tried looking it up. There is not a lot of information on the recording process for this show.
Not surprised.
Weird thing, though, which I actually noticed while watching, and not, But, yeah, they got Sanji as the narrator, which was weird.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch enough One Piece to notice that, so that's really cool.
Yeah, I don't... Like... That's why the whole MMD thing is incongruous to me. Like, that is not a software you use if you're putting budget and effort into a show. But they clearly were. Because they got, fairly well-known actors to do this thing. But, yeah. This was weird.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, hey, let's just do this one silly straight title robot anime, and then it's like, okay, now I'm going to go voice Scarlet Nexus.
Well, I mean, that would have been, years after, but yes.
Yeah, but, I think one of the voice actresses is Astolfo from Fate. So, this is just one of those side projects, I guess, they just did for fun.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, 2013, would that be around the time of the time skip? In which case, he wouldn't have been doing a lot of work as Sanji at that time, I'm going to be honest.
It's a quick, dirty, low effort kind of show of just let's just do a short thing. I got free time, why not? It pays.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly, I said before we started recording, I don't know whether this is good or bad. I honestly couldn't tell you. I may be leaning towards good. It reminds me of Red vs. Blue in a lot of ways, and by which I mean the early seasons, because there is a lot of time where you're just waiting for the punchline, just waiting for something amusing to happen. And when it does, it's great, but most of the time it's not happening.
I didn't feel like my time was wasted, which is more than I can say about this than some of the other shows that we've watched on this show.
That if this was a full 24-minute standard long episode, I think I would be. But because it was cut down to 16, that actually made a difference. It was not pushed to the point of being bored. So yeah, I would say I was entertained on.
At just before the halfway point, I was wondering how long the show had been going on, because it had apparently been going for about 7 minutes and it felt like half an hour. But then it started picking up.
I experienced the same thing, actually. It was around right before they cut to the simulation room.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bit of okay, this is going on a little too long. That only lasted 20 seconds for me before they switched scenes. So it worked.
Yeah, I was feeling that in that beginning, and then because it was like, okay, this is kind of boring, and then we got into some jokes that actually made me laugh. It's like, okay, you know what? All right, I can watch this whenever I have nothing better to do, and
okay,
it's little comedy skits.
Yeah. I will say the show is good. The MMD thing is stupid and pointless, but the show is good. If it can make me laugh, I cannot say it's a bad show. I'll
'Cause
rephrase. If it's a comedy show and it makes me laugh, I cannot say it's a bad show. If it's a drama and it makes me laugh, that's a different story. But if it's a comedy and it's doing its job.
I think we've had comedies that haven't made us laugh at all before, and
plenty.
it's just like, oh no. But yeah, I think I think that's just a solid. Hey, if you have like 15 minutes and you're bored, why not? And by the way, I rolled a new one. 25.
25 is why.
Wow.
37.
All right, let's see what we get. 24.
Why for your buy? 24, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Oh no, what is it? What do we got?
Oh, no.
Oh boy. What do we got?
Oh, no.
Ah, yeah! Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's time to watch a shitty anime that got way too hype for people and now they won't let it go. And also Duel. Duel.
I used to play a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! You wanna know something?
I know that I just pissed off all of our audience, but yes, go ahead.
I learned how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! For the sole fact that I wanted to beat my friend. That was it. He's like, I got all these Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And I'm like, how do I play? Let me make a deck. And then I beat him. And then I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For a very long time. I think I picked it up later, but really I haven't played it in a long time now. I know I have some friends who are very into Yu-Gi-Oh! But, yeah.
I watched about 10 episodes of GX when I was first getting into anime. That is my sole exposure.
That's a weird place to start. But hey, you know what? There's always Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series.
I also watched that. I apologize. I misspoke. I watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and then I was like, hey, there are probably other ones of this. Everyone says that the Yu-Gi-Oh! One is good, and I watched it, and I thought it was shit. In fairness, it was the one that, like, sort of created the formula. So, that's probably not fair. It's early installment weirdness and stuff, but no.
I'm aware of like some memes are there, but I actually did try to go back and watch it, and it just doesn't age well.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah,
the same thing with
just the formula and a lot of the pop culture references don't really hit as hard. They're not as relevant.
Yeah,
it felt like early Dragon Ball Z Abridged, which is the worst part of it.
I was actually going to make that comparison, but I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was made to stop because at the time I lived in a small town in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And we don't want to watch any show about summoning monsters now, do we?
Yeah, religious people are weird.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm gonna break all the rules and watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. Let's go.
So worth it.
Yugi's gonna solve the Millennium Puzzle and unlock the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh's going to get all the girls because he's better than Yugi at having charisma. Yeah.
Okay.
Dark magician, go. Okay, I think we should end this.
Yeah.
Card games on motorcycles.
That was the peak, really.
I'm mad they skipped card games on skateboards.
Skateboards. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you guys.